In the summer of 2009, I ended up having an injury where I bruised, as they call it, one of my ribs. And there's kind of a long story about how that wound up happening, which I'll tell you in just a minute. I will say it was one of the more painful experiences that I've had in a life, which has included a lot of different injuries of different sorts and other mishaps. So it was probably up there, let's say, in the top 5. And it went on for quite a while, as I'll tell you about, and why that was the case. So how did it happen in the first place? It wasn't doing anything really all that strenuous. It was one of those stupid accidents that didn't need to happen. It wasn't doing anything athletic, although it did happen at an athletic event. And I just kind of did something dumb without thinking about it. So the very short way of talking about it is that I leaned over a car seat that had the headrest removed, and I did so too fast without thinking and smacked my rib cage on one of the plastic bits that holds the head thing in place, whatever you call that thing, the cushion behind your head. There's steel rods that go into it. So the plastic has to be pretty big and hard. And it was in my old station wagon. I had a Ford Taurus wagon, I think of 2002 or something. And I was, driving it around, and I didn't like having the headgear there because nobody else was ever in the car, so I took it out. It was in the back seat. I was leaning over to get something that was in the back seat, and I just went too fast, and it hit my rib, right? So what was going on? I mentioned that it was at an athletic event. It was at a minor league baseball game that I'd been invited to by a colleague and good friend of mine who was another philosophy department professor at Fayetteville State University. She would go to these games pretty frequently. I think she may have even been a season ticket holder. And she was like, come on out. This is a really fun thing to do. We'll hang out, watch some baseball, have some hot dogs, drink a beer, and just enjoy the game. And I like these minor league things because you can get in and get out really easy. You don't have to compete with a lot of people to get a good seat to see the game. And sometimes you might actually be, surprised by the action out there on the field. While I was down in Fayetteville, I went and saw minor league baseball games. I also saw, it wasn't, I guess you could call it minor league. It was professional, but it was lower than American Hockey League. Whatever the next lowest thing down is, I watched the Fire Ants play against other competitors. They're not called the Fire Ants anymore. Anyway, long story short, it's a nice day in June, beautiful weather. And so, I went to the game, and then I'm going out to the car to get something. I don't remember even what it was. Maybe it was a hat. Maybe it was something else, like a water bottle. And I leaned over, hit that, and it hurt quite a bit. And I wasn't, really thinking that much of it. I was like, well, of course it hurt, right? You just smacked yourself real hard against a hard piece of plastic. So, boy, was that dumb. And I went back out into the stands. And it, the pain didn't go away, but it didn't get any worse. So, I wasn't that concerned about it that day, as I should have been if I'd known better. So, backing up a little bit. Now, why was I there in the summer? Well, so I got hired at Fayetteville State University in summer of 2008. I'd lost my job teaching for Ball State University at Indiana State Prison because the whole system was essentially being dismantled. A few people held on to their jobs by shifting into other occupations, but for a philosophy and religious studies professor, that just wasn't an option for me. So I had to get on the job market quick in roughly, March, which is not a great time. You want to be on the job market in the fall. And I had a number of different interviews, but I only got 2 offers. One was at a local community college, which was, I was living in northwestern Indiana on my family's land at the time. If you've ever watched my videos about Shalem Rees, that's where it was. So it was about 45 minutes away, and that would have, actually, in some respects, that would have been a better job because we didn't know the financial crisis was about to hit, and that was going to throw everything into all sorts of confusion. But that would have been a union job, right? So I would have had guaranteed pay raises and all of that. And I would have been able to stay close to my family. Instead, I took the job at Fayetteville State University, which was a struggling, historically black university in North Carolina. I had no idea of the chaos I was walking into, which I think I've talked about in other places as well. Suffice it to say, it was an institution in serious crisis when I got there. And, there was me and my friend and colleague, Michelle, who had been hired as new philosophy faculty. And we joined a philosophy, not department, but section of 4 other people. It was expanding a little bit. We mostly taught critical thinking classes, and then we could teach, a few other electives from time to time, including Intro to Philosophy as an elective, because critical thinking was the really big need for the department. Now, around that same time, things started really going south in the winter between me and the person I was married to. Long story short, there were a lot of problems going on, and I didn't realize it, but I was on the way to divorce, which was sort of a last resort in the end. So I was staying down there in the summer instead of coming back up to Indiana. And if I'd known that I was going to do that, I would have actually taken on summer classes, but I didn't. So I had a lot of time on my hands, and I was doing a lot of research work, trying to apply for grants, taking on side projects, things like that, and working out a lot. I was getting myself back in shape. And so anyway, I go to this ball game with my friend. Meet her there. She's there with some other friends of hers from church, and we all sit in the stands together, and we're having a great time, except that I bumped myself there. So then it's all over. I go home and I pull my shirt up, and there's a big bruise, and I'm like, oh, that's not great, Well, hopefully I'll feel better tomorrow. And I wake up the next day and I do not feel better. I feel worse. The area is really hurting. And I'm like, what the hell's going on there? I don't get this, Now, interestingly enough, I think I may have mentioned this in other places. I will tell you a little bit of this story because it's kind of relevant. So when I first got to Fayetteville State University, they didn't even have offices for us. They didn't even have contracts ready for us, and we're supposed to start teaching. That's the level of disorder that the place was in. It took them until after Thanksgiving to find us office space, even though we were required to hold office hours. So I would go and find kind of a cubicle somewhere to meet with my students if they wanted to show up for my office hours. And each week, we'd be like, where's our offices? And they'd be like, you got to understand the institution. We're kind of on Southern time here. Things move a bit slower. And we're like, yeah, we're not from the South. We want our offices. So finally, they say, okay, we got offices for you. And they're in an old dorm, which actually wasn't that bad because it meant that the room that we had for our office had a closet in it where you could hang up your clothes. It had a sink where you could get water for your tea or coffee or whatever you were going to make. And, it had a nice window, so you had some outside light coming in. And downstairs was, something like financial aid or something like that. But we're on the top level. And they threw all of us new faculty into this hallway. So me and my philosophy colleague were next to each other, but there's also new people in the English department and a debate guy who was running the debate team. Interestingly, the head of the communications department also had his office in there because he gave up his office for a new hire. And there were also a number of nursing professors, and these were older ladies, generally in their 50s. And when I say older, of course, I'm that old now, but this is when I was in my, late 30s, early 40s, so I kind of thought of them as, older, more seasoned. And they were all practicing nurses in addition to being professors. And I'd built up a good rapport with them by this time because we'd had months and months. You pass each other in the hallways. I'm an outgoing person. I'd chat with them. They'd chat with me. And so anyway, I've got this pain. And after a couple days, I'm like, man, it's not going away. It's not getting better. I'd lift my arm and it kind of hurt. Breathing, if I breathed in too deep or laughed or coughed, it's hurting. And it's hurting in my ribs. And I'm thinking, did I possibly break one of my ribs? What the hell's going on here? So anyway, I go to these nursing professors and I explain the situation. And they're like, would you mind taking your shirt off so we can examine you? And they're going to start poking and asking me questions. One of them actually got a stethoscope out and she's listening for stuff. And they're like, oh yeah, this is bad news for you, man. You bruised a rib. And I was like, well, how's that bad news? Isn't it worse to break a rib? And they're like, oh no, breaking a rib is just fine. You break it and then you go to the hospital and they'll set you up and then it'll heal up. Bruising a rib isn't really bruising the rib. What you actually did is you damaged the muscles that are in there, and it takes a long, long time to heal up properly, and you're going to be in pain for a while, and you're going to have to take it easy, man. No exercise, just, make sure to get plenty of rest, eat well, sleep enough, and it'll start getting better. It's going to take you a while to do that. And so I was like, well, all right, that kind of sucks. But thanks for giving me the information. Is there anything I can do for it? And they're like, well, you can take over-the-counter painkillers, but you want to be careful with that because if it starts not feeling too bad for you when you really got to take it easy, you might overdo it, and then you're going to mess it up some more, and it'll take longer to heal. And I was like, it hurts, but I've dealt with significant pain before. How bad could this possibly be? So I screwed up after that. I start feeling, it starts getting a little bit better. And I had dumbbells at home, 25-pound and 35-pound dumbbells that I used for doing my own kind of circuit training that I'd been doing since essentially college with lots of different exercises. And I was like, well, I think I want to get back into this. I'll take it easy. I'll only use the 25-pounders even for the exercises that I do more with. And I exercise and I feel, it hurts, but I feel okay as I'm doing it. And I go to sleep and I wake up the next day and it hurts even more than it was before. And I was like, oh, crap. I bet I made it worse. And maybe I'll, ice it and give it a couple days and see how it is. And yeah, it was a terrible idea on my part. And I probably set myself behind a couple weeks of healing. And so, I was like, well, what can I actually do as far as exercise? And I went and I asked the nursing professors again, and they're like, yeah, you didn't listen, dummy. Okay, it's going to take you a bit longer. You're probably losing the whole summer now. What you can do is walking. Walk around. Don't push it. Don't try to get your heart rate up real high. And, don't do anything that's going to be weight bearing, and especially with your arms, right? You're not really going to help yourself out with that. You're going to really have to take it easy. And so, I made the best of it. I was walking generally to work by that time. It was about a 3-mile walk to Fayetteville State University. And I was going into my office, and then I would, kind of change clothes because it was hot, so you get all sweaty, and then work for a while, and then go back home. At home, I was taking walks around town, and usually at nighttime, doing some stretching activities as well for my back and legs. But I had to really take it easy as far as upper body stuff. And, I had other things to keep me occupied in addition to the studies and work, hanging out with my friends and colleagues. I would actually cat sit for that philosophy colleague of mine when she went out of town. She had a real nice cat who needed a companion, so that was nice to do. But it took a long time for the injury to heal up. And I still, once in a while, if I'm not feeling great, and it could be a factor of the weather, or it could be a factor of being sick and having some inflammation, I will still get pain in that region, and I can still feel it affecting me in there. I'll be like, oh, yeah, that's there. It's not remotely like the level of pain when I first bonked it, or, after I did the stupid exercise or while it was healing up, but I can still feel it today. So whatever damage I did, whether it was with the initial injury or, trying to lift weights after it, it's something permanent that'll probably never go away. But, the pain is really not that bad. I'm used to dealing with pains from injuries or chronic pain or stuff like that. So it flares up occasionally, and it just kind of reminds me of the story that I'm telling you that takes me back, not quite 20 years, but to a different time in my life where conditions were, very different than how they currently are for me. I was working at one of the most dysfunctional institutions I've ever seen. I've subsequently seen more dysfunctional than Fayetteville State University, and I think that they've gotten better. But man, was it a mess then. Living down in North Carolina, separated from my family, a little bit out of my home base, but making new friends and colleagues and adapting myself, and being almost 2 decades younger than I currently am. I can say I'm a hell of a lot happier and probably actually in better shape physically now than I was then. But, it would have been nice not to have that injury. What are you going to do about that, though? You make a dumb move, and then, you don't go to the hospital to get it checked out immediately because you think, maybe you could just heal on your own, and then by the time that you do, you're basically consulting your colleagues who tell you, oh, that's not good, man. So that is the story of how I bruised my rib way, way back then, doing something stupid, something random, and then made it a bit worse for myself and had to take it easy in some respects for the rest of the summer of 2009.